Hi everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are at this time of the day or evening watching this show. Welcome back to the Stardom Show, and today we have my friend Manishh Anand here, and we both share our last names as well. Anand, I am Ram Anand, he is Manishh Anand, but we have two different directions, and he has done his name in the VC circles and startup ecosystem, and he is a man to reckon with. He has got a lot of knowledge, wisdom and perspective that he is going to share with us today. I am going to pick his brain and come out with some unique perspectives that probably you will all want to know or dying to know, and how you can use this information. Perhaps you can also contact Manishh at the end of the show if you have any questions. We'll keep it brief and we'll try to, because he is a busy man, he has another meeting to attend, so with the little time that he has given us, we will find out what are his perspectives and how you can get benefit from his perspectives. Welcome to the show, Manishh. Very nice to have you on the show.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. My honor.
And by the way, we are in Bangalore right now in India. And Manishh, tell us about how did you arrive at this business. Tell us about your business and background, and then we'll get to that thing.
So, I have been working across industries 28 years, and one fine day decided that I wanted to put my learnings on the table and help businesses grow. So that is my how I came in contact with the young budding entrepreneurs and realized that, you know, even though there are a lot of mentors supposedly in the ecosystem, there's rarely people really hand-holding them and helping them. So that is where it started 3 years back. And very soon I realized that, you know, the help only lasts that much till you don't give them the money to actually, you know, help them build their plans. So that is where the money bit came in. And that is the birth of UTILIS Capital. And so it's been, you know, in the spanner, in the works for about 8 months. And we only launched it on 1st January because we were pivoting the model so that we are compliant with SEBI and yet in a position to create something very different, unique, and help the startup ecosystem. So UTILIS incidentally is a Latin word which means useful, beneficial, helpful and profitable, advantageous.
Amazing.
So the term, even the name was chosen to convey what we really want to do to the ecosystem.
The name itself reflects what you stand for.
Our philosophy and ideology.
Wonderful. Manishh, what are you known for professionally? Like, what is the problem that you solve with the people?
See, I think the large part of the problem comes from the fact that a lot of people who so startup ecosystem has heated up in the last 3 years in India. There is, I think, 1 or 2 investments happening every day, right? It's an everyday affair now. And a lot of new people are jumping into the fray. The only problem is there enough quality of advice and enough value being brought to the table apart from money? Or is only green?
Right.
And because green will only last that long if you do not add a lot of value substance to it and really help them charter their roadmaps. First of all, chartering the roadmaps and then course corrections because market is so dynamic, right? And so taking them along on the way and making them reach their goal, that I think is where UTILIS comes in, which is a large differentiating factor.
Got it. So considering that you're working with venture capital and especially the startups, I realize or I know that it's a risky business. Like, you don't know whether these guys are going to be successful. At the same time, you're giving them the money and you're also giving them the ideas and connections perhaps you have. How do you do that? Like, how do you make sure that these people are successful? Because you have put money on them as well.
Correct. So, in the early stage investments, or let's say the seed investment per se, there's nothing called fail proof. At best, you can do fail safe.
Right.
And fail safe is to put adequate enough checks and balances along the way of your own processes. So we have built the entire process of first correct to check with adequate checks and balances, proprietary systems of evaluation, proprietary systems of counter check, of measuring, metering, And what we are really different is that we are leveraging collective wisdom of the industry to take those decisions in which startup that we should put money. So it's not a 2-people team, it's not a 4-people team. You'll be surprised. There's an 8-people core team which does the initial evaluation, and then there's a 20-people extended team which actually does the decision making.
Oh.
Which may be the first in the industry.
I see.
And these 20 people come from varied backgrounds. They are startup founders. So, it is surprising that people only know the successes of that founder. But every founder you talk to would have had 1, 2, 3 failures before that success. So they know where they went wrong and they know what made them go right. And that is the value they bring on the table. The second group is primarily the professionals who are, well-placed professionals who know the corporate culture, team building experience. They're the second group in that 20 people. The third group are veterans who have been there, done that 30 years, 40 years in the industry. And the fourth people are who are consultants, advisors, mentors and a day job.
Right.
And they are subject matter experts in maybe leadership coaching or maybe team building or maybe business consulting. And all those 20 is a diverse group which then gets to decide which startup we back. So we're just trying to build a fail-safe method. Post that we have a very, very aggressive hand-holding and helping mechanism, which is a weekly interaction with the startup, right till the time of, let's say, from our perspective, success is a Series B, Series C.
Okay.
Series A may not be success because Series A will come eventually if you get adequate traction. Series B and Series C is validation of whatever you've done till then.
Exactly.
And that is road to success.
Exactly.
And we hold them till then. Right. And we don't exit till we feel that the startup has received visible and tangible success.
Great. I agree to that because when startups today, especially people who are living in different parts of the world, if they want to start a business, there is no excuse today that they can give not to do that because funds are available, crowdfunding is available,
Correct.
ideas are available. But what's not available to these people is the perspective of VCs that they bring on the table. Like as Manishh was saying, Manishh has an entire team of people that will help you and ensure that the startup is successful because they have put their money as well and their success depends on the startup success.
Right.
So crowdfunding is a different ball game where you have to do everything on your own. But coming to a VC or an angel investor, a VC,
So
that's a different thing.
We are in a new category which has been coined not by us but by the media. We have been put in a category called micro VC. Which is in between an angel investor, a seed fund sort of a thing, or a VC. We are micro VC because we write small checks.
Right.
Our checks typically do not exceed 800K.
Okay.
And we are always in the sub 1 million range. But we start writing checks from 100K.
Right.
So because of that and the fact that we also do a lot of work the angel investors do in terms of hand-holding, helping, mentoring, which VCs typically do more of control mechanism and not so much of help mechanism.
Okay.
So we have been put in a different class by the media.
Right. So I was about to ask that question, so you answered the question before I even had a chance to ask that. Anyway, it was nice to know that what's the difference between a VC and an angel investor. That was my question, so we already have the answer. So what are you passionate about personally, Manishh?
So personally, from my perspective or from UTILIS perspective?
From your perspective.
From my perspective, I am, I'm very passionate of finding entrepreneurs who are very driven. If they live, breathe, sleep their startup, that is one mantra to success. If it is just something happening on the side, just some thought, just some discussion in canteen, and they say, okay, let's do this because it is the next hot thing to do, or it's the sexy to do, or startup. Those are not the guys I would like to back in my personal capacity. But outside of UTILIS, I am passionate about many things. I am passionate about renewable energy. I am the India partner and representative of a very large corporation based in Delaware, US,
called
Environmental Energy and Finance Corporation. I am their India partner. I also run a real estate advisory as a chairman, but there's a whole team, an MD and team running that called Lamsmith and Rascom. We also continue to run our, growth stage and advisory firm called Crockford and Cantor. So I do multiple things, and everything is a passion to me, and I am driven by passion.
So you're after so many things, and you are handling so many things. Like probably we should call him the Richard Branson of India. Like you should grow long hair like Branson, and you're into
so that will be a challenge because I have something here. But yeah,
right.
It's good to know that world over, passion is the one value which is always considered has an edge over all the other values. But passion is obviously has to have a lot of character behind it. It has to have a lot of sensibility behind it, right?
Absolutely.
Passion in the wrong direction would be suicidal, right? So it's a good mix of good things with passion driving it.
Amazing, amazing. So Manishh, tell us about your 3 pieces of advice for anyone who is doing their own startup.
3 may not be enough, but yeah,
Let's say the top 3.
happy to concise it to 3. See, the first thing is a lot of startups feel that if I do this because so and so is doing this and they raise money, I'll also get money. Which are basically known as, these when they are doing idea brainstorming, and they're just a bunch of friends or whoever who's thinking of the startup.
Right.
The first thing they realize or they feel that so and so did that and they got money, and let me do something like that and I'll also get money.
Me too.
Me too businesses.
Okay.
So typically at least all the community, the investment community I know of,
Right.
they are not very happy with B2 businesses unless and until you are bringing a very large differentiator or very high execution capabilities that you're going to out-execute them.
Right.
So lead the curve. Come up with something which is very unique. If it's not very unique, it should be very innovative. If it's not very innovative, it should be very disruptive.
Exactly.
So even if you're in the same category, people should look at you rather than looking at the earlier player, because you bettered it.
Right.
Right? So that is one of the idea. 2, build a very good, strong team. Don't be scared of giving away equity, because your co-founding team is what describes you. And if you have a weak set in technology, get a technology co-founder. If you have a weak set in business acumen, get a business co-founder. Build a strong team, because this idea may or may not work. You will need to pivot your business multiple times, but a good team will be able to take you to the end, right? To success, to road to success.
Yeah.
I think, and the third is, don't chase money,
Right.
right?
Rather let the money chase you.
No, I think you should communicate with the investor community that this is what we are doing, and at the right point we will need money. Don't feel that at the idea stage, just when you scribble on a tissue paper, somebody should give you money, and then 2 things happen. 1, you don't have enough skin in it, and 2, the investor knows that you don't have enough skin in it. Right? So it's not a very nice relationship to start with. You started that on the wrong foot.
Right.
Wait till you are investable. And when you are investable and somebody is writing a check for you across the table, you are in a commanding position. Because you've been there, you've done that, you've received adequate validation of your business plan, you've received adequate traction, people know about you. Reach somewhere. Create a mental milestone for yourself that this is where I will raise money.
Right.
Right? And these I think, I can go on and on.
Right.
But these are, I think, the primary 3 things a startup should keep in mind when they're starting off.
Right. So Manishh, what is your idea about, people today are talking about, just you also told me like a few moments ago about we don't want Me Too kind of people. We don't want Me Too kind of organizations to come. But I also see that a big shift is happening in the ecosystem. Like people are putting their faces forward. Earlier it was not like that. 10 years ago, people were hiding behind their companies.
Correct.
Like I'm the CEO of this company. I'm the founder of. Today, persons they are putting their face to the company and they are coming forward. Especially after Steve Jobs and all these people, like they came,
Correct.
they became the face of their companies. So, what is your idea or thoughts about personal branding? Do you think it's important for startups to have personal branding as well?
I would say it is imperative because the company is an extension of you, and the values that you hold at a personal level is the values that you build in your organization. And it should not be the other way around. People should not realize what the organization values are and what the organization stands for, what is the organization's character, and then say you are the founder, therefore this should be yours. It's not that. It's the other way around, right? Your values, your character should come out very clearly in your communication to the world, and then it should relate to that this is the company that you built, which has similar values, character, ethics, and whatever. So, I think personal branding is very, very important in the startup life. May not be very important just when you're starting up, because at that time, as it is, it's you, not the firm. But when the firm receives adequate validation, traction, it's in the news, it's in the media, I don't think you should hide behind that company cover and create a personal branding. So coming back to Sir Richard Branson, right, one of my favorites. So today Virgin is known because of him and not the other way around.
Not the other way around, yeah.
It's always Richard Branson first. So I may be politically incorrect by saying only Richard Branson. So Sir Richard Branson first, and then everything that he's built.
Absolutely.
And everything talks about him. It's his character in that whatever he does.
Right. Amazing, amazing. That was a very nice correlation that you brought up here. And Manishh, where can we find you when you're not working? Like your favorite way to spend a weekend?
So weekend is primarily with books. I listen to a lot of music. My favorite is opera. I listen to a lot of opera. I listen to a lot of Indian classical. So it's primarily between music and books. I'm a teetotaler. I don't like to drink. I'm not too much of a travel guy. I feel travel is too much a strain on the on the body. So I'm happy to just read and listen to music, and I think that's the best way of relaxing. I also watch some bit of TV, but I'm not too much of fan of that. But generally, I think I do things which have an emotional connect rather than a physical connect. I'm not a trekking guy, I'm not a travel guy. So books have an emotional connect to me. So is music. Yeah, music, according to me, music purifies the soul.
Connects there.
And every time I hear a good opera, I see tears in my eyes. So I feel opera and some of the classical pieces always bring tears to my eyes unknowingly while I'm listening to it, and I believe it is a way of purifying your soul. Good music purifies your soul. It's a new perspective.
Of course it is.
But if you actually see, one of the talent shows or anything, if there is good opera on the stage, you would see the audience crying.
Crying, yeah.
And that is the essence of music.
Amazing, amazing. Well said. You have very, refined kind of, hobbies and habits, I should say. Manish, where did you grow up, and are you in the same place right now, or are you in a different place?
I've been all over, right? I did my initial schooling in Delhi, born in Delhi, Delhi Public School, Mathura Road. I incidentally burnt my entire face in Diwali of 1976.
Really?
But I got some amazing doctors, not a single patch. And 1977, so I was in bandages all through for about 6 months. And 1977, I moved to Mussoorie, where I did my balance of the schooling till high school. And then I wanted to do engineering, so moved to Bangalore and did my engineering here in Ramaya College. And post that, I did my first job in Bangalore and then moved back to Delhi. Married a girl from Bangalore and then moved with her to Delhi. Stayed in Delhi for 10 years and then moved back permanently in 2001 to Bangalore and then stayed put.
Wonderful.
So I've been all over in that time.
So tell us a little bit more about UTILIS and how, and what kind of people should contact you. Is there any specifications? Or
so we typically are good to go from. So I keep going back to that because it's a common terminology. It's called tissue paper plan.
Right.
So you friends meet, you think of something, you brainstorm, you don't even have a piece of paper.
Right.
So you borrow a tissue paper from the restaurant and scribble a plan on it. From that stage to grossing $1 million a month, any stage is fine with us.
Right.
As long as one, we are the first investors. Two, we feel that it's a large market that you're addressing. Three, again, passionate team, large market. So passionate team is obviously one of the components. Good business plan is also one of the components. But having said that already earlier, the other things which make us take that decision is it has to be a large market and it has to be very high utilization and leveraging of technology. So either it has to be a pure play technology or it has to be a very high component of technology in the business, which we term as technology leveraged. The world does technology enabled, where technology is only an enabler. Here we say technology has leveraged your entire thing, so technology component in the whole scheme of things is much larger. And those businesses have the ability to scale. But without sustainability in very near sight, we still don't go ahead. If we don't see that company making money for 4 years, 5 years, it's not the right fit for us. Within 2 to 3 years, you should become sustainable. And we love sustainable businesses. And anyway, in the scale versus sustainability war, last 3 years were ruled by scale. The next 3 are going to be ruled by sustainability.
That's a cool distinction.
And humans as a race never learn. So 3 years after that, it will go back to scale.
Go back and forth.
So another thing that we missed out, which I was just coming to, was it has to solve some very tangible customer pain points. So either in terms of pricing, if you're out executing some existing player, your pricing needs to be better without hitting your margins because of technology. Either your pricing needs to be better, or you are replacing unbranded service with branded service, or you are solving some demand supply issues, or you are easing the entire process for the end user. So you are providing simplicity. Easier said than done. Simplicity could not only be measured in minutes saved or whatever. Simplicity also could be that it's not so much of a problem for the customer to onboard on the system. It has to be very simple as a process. So it has to solve some customer pain point, definitely, and it has to be tangible. I think.
That sums up like exactly what you're looking for and exactly what you guys should be looking for actually. So, are there any awards, medals, or any certificates that you want to brag about? Like, this is your bragging time.
So whatever awards and medals and
personal, okay too.
Yeah, personal. It's primarily been in my school days. So in my school days, I was much more active in many things. So I got the best. I was the youngest school captain, youngest house captain when I was only 10th, because that is reserved for the guys of 12th. And then at 12th I was captain of a certain wing. I was the best student of the year in my 10th as well as my 12th. In 10th for I think mathematics and in 12th for physics, or the other way around, I also don't remember. But
Right.
post that it's been a run for honors and everything. So in fact I did some of my education 10 years, 12 years after I passed out of engineering,
Oh.
where I was elder than the teacher and the whole class used to call me uncle. I was already having 2 kids by that time.
Yeah, I see.
And so there I broke all records.
Wow.
So this was one of the oldest GNIT ever set, first GNIT maybe in Delhi. It was in
Oh, I see.
Karol Bagh area.
Okay.
And this is where I did my GNIT.
Mm-hmm.
And I was told that I've broken all earlier records.
Mm-hmm. That's so amazing.
So
Yeah.
it's something that just comes, and it's been good. Recognition is always good.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not a fanciful for awards and merits and honors and medals. I don't hang them anywhere. They're not plastered on the wall anywhere.
Right. Right.
So that's me.
Right. So, apart from what you do, the UTILIS and your personal passions, professional thing that you do, ultimately, what is how do you think, like, how do you want to be remembered?
Nice one. See, I would say that I want to be remembered nicely. People, whenever they think of me or mention of my name comes, there should be some warmth in their heart. I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
So that warmth could be because of the interaction we had over email or a phone or a meeting, and I always wish to exude warmth, openness, and get a connection with the heart as soon as possible, as early as possible. Because brain connections die, heart connections live on. The warmth that you exude lives on. And whenever people remember me, they should remember me warmly, fondly.
Right.
That's it. I don't think people should remember me as a guy who did so and so and so. They should not remember me by my achievements.
Mm-hmm.
They should just remember me how nice he was as a person. Even though he didn't give me money, he put me in the right track.
Exactly.
So only the guys who get money should not remember me nicely. All the guys who
exactly.
who didn't even give the money. So let's say I was at Surge as an event.
Mm-hmm.
There were 500 startups there.
Okay.
And I picked some and some picked me.
Mm-hmm.
I got to meet about 150 of them.
Mm-hmm.
The 150 that I met, I've told this, I've received a thank you mail from more than 100, not for giving them the opportunity to present their startup to me for funding, but for the 5 minutes that I spent with them.
Being nice with them.
Being nice with them.
Yes.
So I understood what they're doing, and a lot of people, I give them a good advice.
Right.
That this is where you're going wrong and this is what you should do. And we thank you for your candid advice, we thank you for the thing, it was nice of you to hear us out.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them even had the cheek to tell me you are the only investor who actually listened to us and could give us that sense of direction. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you, because what happens is sometimes I have met so many people, all they want to do is say something and want someone to listen and say yes and give them that little nudge. Yes, you are in the right direction, just go ahead. That's what some people really expect. That's what they are there for. And if you give them that little time, little few moments of your time and give them a little nudge to push forward, that means a lot to them.
Even if it is not a forward, even if I'm telling them that your track is not absolutely right, this is where you should
Point
give it a
right
rethink, and this is what you should pivot your model, or saying that you should be a little more frugal or a little more prudent in the way you spending money,
Mm-hmm.
or the way you are doing this, or your customer acquisition cost is too high because this customer delivery of life cycle to you in terms of revenue and profits is only so much, so reduce this. Something that is putting them on the right track. It may not be only that you're already there, everything you're doing is right. So whatever you're not doing right, even a pointer to that so that they think about it.
Right. So that is a very powerful way to influence people, by the way. You either tell them how to think, or you love them, which you also do, or you also let them know, like, what's going to be the next step, which is so important. Alright, so if the viewers want to learn more about you, where would they go? Like, do you want to like give your website or LinkedIn? Or how is the best way? What's the best way?
Yeah, so website, because we want to get the right message across at the right time, and we are still building UTILIS in terms of the advisory team, the mentor team, everything. The teams are still being built and people are still joining. So website is something that will happen at a later date. I am available on LinkedIn. Incidentally, my name has a unique double H in it, so it's Manishh with an added H, Anand. I accept every invitation. I currently already have around 14,000 connections. Happy to add you too. Once we're on LinkedIn, you can chat with me. I reply to every message, typically within 24 hours. And if we need to share phone numbers, I do that. If we need to share Skype IDs, I do that. And typically I take out time. If I need to, I take out time. I'll give you some time, solve whatever problems you have, issues you have, what advice you want. Happy to do that.
Great. So if you want to get in touch with Manishh Anand here, the founder of UTILIS, you can, here's the URL below this video somewhere. My post-production team is going to put that URL of his LinkedIn profile. Click on that profile, go to his profile and see all these amazing things that he is doing on LinkedIn, and get back to him if you want to get in touch with Manishh. Thank you so much, Manishh, for sharing your precious time with us.
It was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
It was so nice to know his perspectives as well. It was so valuable and important for us. Signing off again from Bangalore here in India for the Stardom Show. We had Manishh Anand here, CEO and founder of UTILIS. Thank you.
Thank you.